What I am going to try to do here is to explain to you how our Uncle Sam school teaches English. You can see my little thing here that Uncle Sam, we teach TOEFL, that's for sure. We're an online class of excellence, and here's my link for that. But the important thing, what I want to point out is that, as I will say in my little message over here, that the superior way nowadays for education is not in classrooms. And there's many reasons for that. It has served the purpose of education for hundreds of years, but there was no other choice. They decided to build buildings and have classrooms and have teachers teaching in those classrooms and be teaching the same subjects all over the world. So there was some uniformity. You might say a lot of this came out of England, who at that time had an empire, and it wanted to make sure that its empire had educated people, meaning people who had the same education all over the world, so they could serve well as civil services. But that's no longer true today. We have a lot of technology, and one of those technologies we have is the Internet. And the Internet has been able to contact and be in touch with people all over the world. And to be able to present classes online, and as I point out in this little example, that we present classes online by the Internet. Such universities as Harvard and Yale, they do what they call a MOOC, M-O-O-C, that's massive online classes, and they have thousands of people that will attend those classes all over the world, something that the university in one room couldn't possibly accomplish. And so this is where education is right now. It is expanding into the Internet and offering one important ingredient. Because of the Internet, they're able to offer free education to peoples all over the world. Well, I don't necessarily give my classes for free. The important thing what I have in my class is that my classes offer online classes. And these online classes, I will show you in a moment, are classes that have been invited by other teachers who are excellent in presentation and excellent in their manner of teaching. And they put them out there on a web page for free. And I use them. And like the old expression goes, you don't have to invent the wheel again, okay? The wheel is there, the Internet there, the lessons are there. I pick the best ones possible, and I give them to you. And the important part about that is that these lessons they're yours forever. They're on the web page as long as the page exists, and it could be forever. And you can go and study these. I will now show you some of that, if you don't mind. I wanted to, but there you go. I should be sharing my screen with you. Okay, not that one. I will share some of the other ones. Okay, this is Sheraton English. Now, the reason I have this primarily, and a lot of what I have, despite the fact that I teach online, most of my students are Mexicans, and they are from Mexico City. That's where I live. This is where I have my school, even though I teach online in other countries. But the majority of my students are Mexicans. Their language is Spanish. And if you take a look at this, you will see that this is in Spanish. Well, I believe that the best way to learn a course, but it's not always possible, is to teach the course in the student's original language. And I'll show you some of the reasons for that because I'm going to take a look here. Don't mind me looking around. Let's take a look at this one. These are principal verbs. I'm going to blow this up here so it's a lot easier for you to see. Okay, I've done that. And in this particular case, you can see it's in Spanish. And this in English are the primary verbs. This is Spanish for that. Here we have the instructions in Spanish. Okay, I'm showing this to you to show you one of the things that's available, and especially for those who are Spanish speakers. Okay, these are principal verbs. Okay, so let's click on one of those where it says verbs to be, and this brings up to be verbs. Well, the to be verb are the main verbs that we have in English. And you can see here it has it in Spanish and English. Okay. So it's I am a student, soy un estudiante. Okay. So it's a lot easier to learn it that way than in other ways of doing it. Let's go back and perhaps get some of the other things that are important in verbs and phrasal verbs. And in Mexico, they don't teach them because they think they're not good grammar. But this is how we speak English, and you must learn them. And I'm going to show you on this one. Go and look at some of the phrasal verbs, and we have it here again. Okay, in English, the phrasal verb been after, and this is what it is in Spanish. Okay. I want to get something else. Let's take a look at the vocabulary. And here we have a vocabulary for different things. The important thing about there are certain words you will need, and this is still in Spanish. Okay. Our words you would use in cooking, and you say like cooking, to add a measure or something. This is the Spanish for it. Okay. So the Spanish student is learning the English equivalent of what it uses in its own language. And what an important feature of this is that it has the English for this. Okay, I'll allow you to hear this.
To add, to bake, to beat, to blend, to boil, to bone, to break, to broil, to chill, to chop, to coat, to cook, to cover, to curdle, to cut into strips,
to cover,
to decorate,
To cut into
Okay,
strips.
you should have heard that,
To
okay?
decorate.
And the important part of that is you have the English pronunciation. The person has the page, it has the pronunciation, it has the Spanish verbs and so forth. And so it has the whole lesson that would be given in a classroom, except after you leave the classroom, you don't hear the teacher anymore. You only have your notes. You know, of course, you can use a tape recorder and things like that, but this is not necessary. Here you have the whole package just the way it's presented, and you can play it over and over again until you perfect your lesson. Okay? Well, I know that many of you are not going to be one of my students in Spanish, so we have an excellent English teacher here who has the whole thing in English. Of course, in America, when you're teaching many different students, you have to do it all in English, which simply means you can't speak all the languages that the people has. The people might have be Japanese, Chinese, Spanish, Vietnamese, or whatever. And so he teaches an excellent course, and he invites you to use this for learning. And I want to show you an example here that he has in a simple lesson starting out. He has a whole schedule of lessons that you can take, and we will start with the be. Now here he has a presentation for you. Okay, that's the teacher, and the teacher is giving you the lesson. This is on the be verb, I am, you are, and so forth, and he shows himself, then he shows examples, and I'll go through that quickly in a minute. Plus, he has one that he's recorded in a classroom. That's this one right here. He's recorded in a classroom that goes through this whole lesson. So I'm going to sort of go through this for you to see what he has for you here.
Blue level, lesson 1.
Blue level,
B.
lesson 1.
Present tense.
B. Present tense.
I am.
I
You
am.
are.
You
He
are.
is.
He
She
is.
is.
She is.
It is.
It is.
We are.
We
You
are.
are.
You are.
They are.
They are.
So you have the teacher. He's pronouncing it for you. Which is important, getting I am, you are, that pronunciation. I won't go through all this, but he does the same thing in this category. He goes through and shows you the various conjugation of the verb to be, as I am a teacher, you are a student. He uses nice little pictures, and he also speaks that for you. But an important part of this is his lesson down here, and I will play that for you.
This is the verb be in
This
the
is
present
the verb
tense.
be in the present tense.
On this side, you have the
On
singular
this side you have
for
the
one,
singular for
and on this
one.
side,
And
the
on this
plural
side,
for
the plural
more than one.
for
2,
more than
3, 4,
2,
5,
3, 4,
10,
5,
100.
10, 100.
Notice that each of these words
Notice that each of these words
is the verb
is the verb be.
I am.
I am.
I am a teacher.
I
This is
am
the
a
verb.
teacher.
I won't play that all through. I'm
This is
only
the verb.
giving you examples of what I have here, okay? And letting you see. Now, this is free, okay? I don't claim these. but I give them to you, and I help you in these, and I show you where you should study. And you're free to go as fast or as slow as you want and study the grammar, all the other things you need to learn and this type of thing. Okay? I'm going to show you one more now. This is a fast example. This is another one that I use. Now, I use this both for the Spanish-speaking people and for anybody else, because it's important that you learn the sounds of English. And the sounds of English are not simple sounds. We have 54 sounds altogether. There's 27 in Spanish, so there's twice as many. And this is what makes English sound so beautiful, is the variations of sounds. Now, how this works is that you can go through this, and you can do this whether you're whatever nationality, whatever your basic language is, and you can click here,
A,
and you get the sound.
A,
Now, there are many sounds. For example, in A, there's a short A,
ah,
okay, and there's a long A,
ah, A,
and then we have examples of words that's used in it.
apple, apple, ape,
Okay, you have those
Eight.
examples. And you can go through this whole list of sounds, and you can practice as many times as you want until you have that perfect sound. Okay? So that's sort of an introduction to how I teach. The other part of what I do in my teaching is that I have 1 hour of conversation with you. Now, that 1 hour of conversation can be online. Of course, people in Mexico like to come to my classroom, and they come here and practice face to face, but that's not necessary. This is what people are used to. What you can do is use Skype or Hangout or the WizIQ that I'm showing this with you, and to practice a conversation, because it makes no sense to learn a language, the sounds, the words, the grammar and all, and never speak it. You've got to have conversations. You need to speak. And that's where, in many ways, I'm unique, because all my lessons are private lessons. They're made especially for you. They're designed for you. And I work with you on this. And we have private conversations, one-on-one, just you and me. And that's how I do it. And I think it's an excellent, excellent way of learning English. I can't think of any better. It's very natural. It's the way you learned your first language, and this is the way you can learn your new language, okay? Still Uncle Sam's School, and I invite you, click on this http://unclesamschool.com, and there you can experience more information about my school. You can also have free lessons that you can learn from. It's another form that I do, that I send to my students. And I hope that you will become one of my students, okay? Because I'm a good teacher, and I've been doing this for 15 years here in Mexico, and I assure you, you will learn English and learn it well. When you come with me, I'll first test you to see what your level is, and then I will give you what you need to learn at your level, and you can constantly increase, you can constantly English, and you will learn and speak American English as Americans speak it. Okay, folks, that's it. I'm going to sign off now. So I will see you all, and hopefully I will see you soon.